Hi, I'm Miss Edwards, and I'm the middle school band director. Today I'm going to be going over first day of saxophone stuff, how to make the first note, all that good stuff. So I'm going to start with teaching you how to put the instrument together. First, you want your case somewhere secure, so I just have it sitting on a table, making sure that it's not going to fall anywhere or someone's going to kick it over. And you are going to start with opening it. Step one is always put the neck strap on. And we'll go over how much to tighten it to later. And step two is I'm actually going to work with the mouthpiece. And during this, you're going to want to have your reed in your mouth. So you like to start, or I like to start, with putting the bottom of it in first. And then once that's wet enough, I turn it around and put the top, and then usually by that point the instrument's together. However, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to be talking to you the whole time, and that is probably not enjoyable to listen to. So I'm just going to put that to the side for now. And so now you have your mouthpiece, and I'm going to take what is called the neck. It's the only other part of the saxophone that's not the actual saxophone. And we're going to take the ligature off for now because I don't want to break that while I'm twisting it on. So I have it marked right here where how far on the mouthpiece should go. And so about that much onto the cork is where you're going to put the mouthpiece. And it's just going to be a really easy twist on, making sure you're not hurting this key right here. So just do your best with that. I will say it's a little difficult. Okay, and so it should look like this. And so right now, this you have this. I would not recommend putting the reed on yet. We'll do that last because you still want it to be soaking in your mouth. And so now you will take the saxophone, and the very, very first thing that you want to do is you should not be holding your neck in your hand still like I am. Put that to the side. Very first thing you want to do is go ahead and attach it to your neck strap just to prevent any accidents from happening. And you should have this part on your saxophone. It looks like a little lid, and it's called the peg. You can just put that to the side. That's to protect it while it's in the case. And so this is what you have right here. It looks kind of silly. We are going to attach the neck. You want to make sure that this screw up here is loose. Don't loosen it too much to where it's going to fall out and you're going to lose it somewhere on the floor. And you are going to gently twist the neck on. And so what's going to line up right here is this line. If you can see it, that line is going to line up with this rod on the saxophone. So just like that. And then once you get it on there, you're good to twist the screw. You don't want to crank it up super tight just because that's not good for any screw. But just make sure that it is secure, and you should still be able to move it a little bit even. So it looks something like this, and you should not have your reed on yet. So now I will do my best to model the first note with my kind of dry reed. So I like to actually have the ligature on first and slide the reed on to prevent any chips or anything. So you have the ligature. The screws are always going to go on the right side. I know it might look backwards on here because I'm using a front camera, but the screws are always going to go on the right side. And so I'm just going to take my reed and place it, just kind of slide it down. You want to do your best not to touch the tip of the reed, just because you don't want your hands to be touching where a lot of spit is and where it's going to go back in your mouth. And it could also break down the wood of the reed quicker than you want it to. And you're just going to screw it on, not super tight once again, but you do want it to be secure and not sliding around. And so it's going to look something like that. If you notice, my neck strap is still really super low. If I hold my saxophone up, it's at my chin. So I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit, not to where it's choking me or anything, but just to where it's comfortable, and my mouthpiece is a little bit crooked. You can do some adjusting just as you go. And so this is perfect for me right here. And you want your neck strap to be placed where you are not going to be hunched over or basically bringing your face to the saxophone. You always want to bring your saxophone to your face. And so I'm just going to model the first note for you. We're going to play a G. And so it's going to sound like this. All right, and so the fingering for G, well, I guess I should teach you how to, where your fingers should go first. So your left hand back here is the octave key, and your thumb is just going to rest on that. We're not going to need it for the note G. And then up here, your fingers are 1, 2, and 3. And if you notice the pearls, if you have a pearled saxophone, there's actually little indents or like rests where your fingers should go on these 3 keys, because these two, the biz keys, these two actually are raised. And so you will use those sometimes, just not for the note G. And so those 3 keys are what we're going to use for G. And then as for your right hand, you have a little thumb rest down here where it goes, and that's perfectly a good spot to put it. Sorry, it's getting really hard to show you lifting it up here. So there's 3 keys right here, 3 pearls, and that is just where your 3 fingers go, 1, 2, 3. And then there's some pinky keys down here that we won't need for the note G either. You actually won't use your right hand at all for the note G. But we are just gonna be resting our fingers right there regardless. And so for embouchure on the saxophone, you want to think about a circle. So just a regular circle, and you have 4 arrows that are pointing downward into the circle. So think of a rubber band. You can pull it, or you can kind of not pull it. If you were to put a rubber band around the mouthpiece, so basically as if your mouth were a rubber band, you're just gonna kind of close it onto the mouthpiece in that way. So you do want a little bit of firm corners, but it's more about the whole embouchure. And you also want to make sure that you're not biting the reed and that your bottom lip is cushioning it. So it's going to sound something like this. And your top teeth actually will rest on this plastic part of the mouthpiece. That's totally fine. Just make sure that your teeth aren't touching the reed, because that's where your bottom teeth are, or where your bottom lip should be cushioning it. If you are not getting a sound out, try to think about pulling your corners in more, because if there's any part of your embouchure that is not kind of working out, most likely it's going to be your corners. So just do that. I think that is pretty much it for first day information. So yeah, I look forward to working with you and your students in the future for the rest of the year, and hopefully many more years to come. Thank you.